Hello, please, whatever be your opinion about my motivation in speaking out concerning the untimely death in our society and in the church, I want to appeal to you to just care to listen to me today. This effort is meant for you, your loved one. I will share something today that will tell you that those people that you see slump and die, something different could be responsible for that, and most of those things can be prevented and also have a solution available in our time. Did you know that your heart is the busiest organ in your body? This your heart that you are right there right now beats at least averagely 100,000 times every day. Your own heart, if it is still well. Did you know that your heart under normal circumstance pumps 2,000 gallons of blood every day? Averagely, of course, 7,500 liters of blood. This your heart is the busiest organ. I mean, the busiest organ in your body. Some of us are under several worries, several programs, line up, being busy here and there with a lot of trauma. It is your heart that is actually doing all that. It's something that has to be given attention. I want to show you some pictures. This is the engine house of life to a man. I will use the terminology that when somebody asks you anything concerning your heart, you can understand. This heart is made up of two major components. One is the electrical component, and the second one is the plumbing component. I will start from the wire dimension because that's what makes people to sleep. They will not wake up. All right, let us see what could go wrong when you hear cardiac arrest, when you hear that somebody had the heart attack dimension is more in the plumbing work, which I will tell you later. But the one now we are going to talk is the electrical. Now, can you have a look at this? This is the wire that how the electric in your heart passes through. This is like a rhythm, which is called sinus rhythm. You can see how they are all equal. Everything is moving. The heart is working at a steady rate. Not too high, not too low. Because the normal heart rate should be between 60 and 100. Anything above, I will tell you, I will show you the changes that could happen. This is a normal situation, all right? Everything you can see, the gap in between these two, just equal, all right? So let's look at another one. Now, if you have a look at this, it discovered there is a widening. This is what is called sinus bradycardia. Even though they are normal, but you discover that the gap in between them is very, very wide. All right. So in this very case, this very person will have what is called bradycardia. That's the heart rate will be lower. And this could happen when people sleep. When there is no metabolic activity, it could happen that when you are sleeping, your heart rate should be able to go low. Now, there could also be some other health problem that could be able to make this heart rate to go low. And when this heart rate goes low, like in the case of hypothyroidism or some of the metabolic disease, or the muscles of the heart having some problems inside, some infiltration inside, it may make the heart rate to go very, very low. And of course, when someone engine is not sounding well, it may not carry everything. And this is what could happen. So you can see right now this one, is looking same. You call it sinus tachycardia. Tachycardia in the sense that the heart rate will be over 100. And you see the gap in between. With this very person will just be, the rate of pumping of blood is overworking of the heart. This could happen in some physiological condition they call 3 E's. When there is emergency, anxiety, when there is we are doing exercise, or also when you have something like excitement. These are natural things that could happen. But someone's heart may be racing like this also in a state of abnormality. that somebody who has something like hypovolemia, that's hypovolemia, and they say this very person must have been stooling, and on stooling, he stool out everything. He may begin to get tired, the heart will be beating, beep, 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 or the person lose a lot of blood, or this very person is vomiting excessively. All right. Also, another problem is that if this very person has a heart failure whereby the heart is no longer working in its optimal capacity, if the person make a small movement, he will be so tired, the heart will be beating, beep, 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 beep. It will just be as if he's dying. He can't even lie down sometimes without having a pillow to support him. That time we find out that the heart rate will be running like this. This very person's life is in danger if nothing is done to be able to reconsider this kind of condition. If you go further, if another person's heart will be in this format. Now, if you watch this particular one of atrial fibrillation, you discover that this very thing is completely irregular. It's irregular in the sense that it's just moving on its own. Boom, boom. There are people that when you check their pulse, even their pulse, one will drop, boom. Another one will come, boom, boom, boom. It will just stop. Another one, boom, boom, boom. And if you check the heart, you'll be hearing a lot of other sounds they called murmur. Why the normal heart supposed to be going in a regular manner? Some people own everything scatter, everything jaga, and such a person. That's why you don't have to go and have problem with people. If you hear somebody that may be running through here, he doesn't need to sleep, he will sleep on your hand. People heart are like that, and they are carrying it and going, waiting for the day devil will be wearing a crown on their head. That somebody in the office must have won to their position, the other person my political enemy, the other person my enemies in the village. How long can we continue in this kind of erroneous belief? It is time we begin to know that wisdom is profitable to give direction. This very person in this very heart rate, if he goes to sleep, the tendency that this, because of the ejection fraction under this, will be very, very low. This very person, the rate at which he will be able to produce throughout blood, what is called the ejection fraction, will be quite low. He may not be able to sustain life. But most of us, lucky as God may give them favor, they continue. Now, if you go further here, you can have this particular one. This is what is called ventricular fibrillation. In ventricular fibrillation, this is what they call cardiac arrest. All of a sudden, you will see the woman's heart run line like this. This is confirmed death. It is called asystole. It means that this very person is dead. Now, what do? We have been able to establish that a person should have this very normal rhythm. Everything good, all right? And then we establish that somebody may have, even though it's looking normal and all that, but you see the range, the gap is wide, which means the heart rate will be very low. And that very heart rate being very low is not a good thing. The heart rate of somebody is supposed not to be less than 60. If it is, the underlying cause has to be traced. Even while that very person is sleeping, you need to be in position to know why it is happening. That's why it is important that fundamentally you get your ECG done. This ECG gives you the information about the electrical activities and have a lot to interpret in it. Based on the finding on ECG, you can go further to do echocardiogram. The echocardiogram tells us about the muscles, tells us about the valves, tells us about how your blood pumps out, how you pump out the blood. Because if somebody that is in a state of severe heart failure, where the heart is not pumping as much as the other, the muscles of the heart is so thick, but it's also not pumping out enough. And in a situation where the ejection fraction is less than 35%, or the what they call QRS wave becomes so widened, that heart can pump enough blood the body needs. And in that very situation, that very person needs immediate intervention. That is where there is a need for cardiac resynchronization therapy supposed to be given. That is also what is called biventricular pacemaker. A pacemaker, that this heart that is not being able to pump, that person cannot do meaningful work. A little thing is so tired, he will not be able to move. After the medication has not been able to help such one, the person should, as a matter of urgency, be able to be supported by biventricular pacemaker. That will help the ejection fraction, the ability of that heart to pump the blood, to continue. There are a lot of things that could be done with respect to keeping someone healthy, and that person could be moving. If you have something like atrial fibrillation, this particular condition is that the wires are just throwing whatever they want to throw and not performing well. This person will require further what is called continuous 24 hours ECG monitoring. Even while the person is sleeping, you can monitor the ECG. Such person could also be in position to do what is called stress ECG. In this kind of examination, this very person is subjected to stress. Even though in any center such should be done, there are other gadgets that should be like a standby for any emergency to be able to help. But as this thing is ongoing, you cannot start monitoring how the heart is actually being able to withstand pressure or withstand stress and all that. So that is what is called stress ECG. All these things can be done to enable people who are supposed to be contributing to their family, contributing to the society, to be able to live a little further. And that's why I call on everybody to support this very campaign, reaching out to everyone, be able to educate our people in their own language, but most importantly, let's also trace people who may have been just living like a time bomb because of the state of their heart. Whatever you learn today, share it with somebody. Let us start from the known before we go to unknown. I believe that we have the great optimism that 2025 will be a different ball game, because you're gonna know, and your family and the entire society will be saved from preventable death. God bless you.